Okay. Going to blog. So this is where most of the review the first time around took place because I heart blogs. Blogs are my thing, yo. I don't even have a portfolio. I just use my blog as my portfolio, and it's the best way to make use of your website, in my opinion. A blog is generally how Google will find you. It's how readers will, or I should say visitors will connect with you as a photographer. So this is one of those places where you have got to do it right. That being said, there's some changes that need to be made here. I won't give you the whole WordPress speech because I'm sure you've seen it before, but if and when you feel like Blogspot is strangling you, which it will, you need to move to WordPress because Blogspot, it just does not give you enough flexibility from what I've seen, and it's really gonna choke off your ability to grow. WordPress is not expensive. It's not hard. I will help you. Just make a post and tag me in it. So whenever you wanted to look into that, that's what I rave about and love and urge everyone to do. But I'm getting into a rant, so I'll stop. So working with what you have right now, I have no idea if this toolbar, the blog stomp toolbar, can be removed, but I would do it because it looks just really unprofessional. It doesn't look like your site. It looks like a LiveJournal. I don't know if I'm dating myself with LiveJournal, but yeah. Secondly, the Oh Shoot title, I'm guessing that's the title of your blog. I don't really get it. I mean, I get it. Like, I understand, like, oh shoot, like, I shoot things, I'm a photographer. But, I don't know that it's doing you any favors as terms of professionalism. Like, I guess you're going for some humor here that I didn't see at all on your website, and it's confusing to me as a visitor. Like, I don't know how it connects. So I would change this. I mean, if this fits your brand, then you need to be using this kind of humor everywhere on your site, so that people who connect with that kind of humor will be motivated to hire you. But as it is right now, it just looks like it's just not a very good attempt at humor. Like, it just feels like you were going for something and missed. So give that some thought. I would also remove this. Momtographer can mean different things to different people, but a very, very common use of the term is someone who picked up a mom who picks up a camera to take pictures of her kids and suddenly thinks she can run a business. Now, that's not saying anything negative against moms who run a business. I think about 70% of our industry is moms, and that's awesome. Moms in general are awesome, but it just gives the connotation of someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So I would remove it. Also, it just doesn't, if you're trying to convince people to give you their money and trust you with something as a professional, you've got to really play that card, and you're not playing that card here, you're playing the mom card. So if I were a mom, I would connect with you like, oh, she's a mom too, and she likes taking pictures, that's cool, I like taking pictures, but nothing about that says, I should hire this girl, she's a photographer, she knows what she's doing. So I would adjust that. Thirdly, my darling, we need to talk about this font because this is redonkulous. I'm trying not to be mean. I love you. I really do, my darling. Your work is really cute. I think you're going to do really great, but you've got to get rid of this font. This is Comic Sans and or close to, and is one of the most overused, ridiculous fonts, and it's just not a good idea. This particular font is actually well known on the internet in general, and especially in design circles, as like this is the font that you shove in the locker and leave them there all weekend, or give swirlies to. Like, you know what I mean? This font translates to this person doesn't know what they're doing, and that's not what you want to say. A lot of people use this font, especially in children and family shooting, because it looks playful, it looks childish. The problem is it's been used in such a childish way for so long that it immediately screams childish, but not in a good way. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm rambling. Anyway, if you Google the word Comic Sans, you will find a multitude of both written and visual mocking. So I will get rid of it quickly. That's enough on that. I'm sorry, I'm getting into a rant. Also, this text is almost as big as the header. I would definitely make this a lot smaller. You can get away with making this a lot smaller for people to be able to read. Next, blog archive. I have a rant about that too. I hope it doesn't feel like I'm picking on you. I really do. I want you to succeed, and I think with making these changes, you could just have a site that complements your work instead of getting in the way of it. But anyway, let me show you something about blog archives. So let's say I go to your blog and I say, okay, I want to see her work on babies. So I scroll. I don't really see. Oh, there's one baby. Let me see if there's any more. Let me see if there's a menu. There's no menu. Shoot. Okay. There's an archive. July. I don't know what any of these are. Horses. What? June. Where's the babies? See what I mean? Blog archives don't really do anything. If I wanted to see all of your posts just strictly by date, I would just scroll. So it doesn't really add any information. It's just kind of frustrating. What I would very strongly suggest is always have a menu on your blog. Let people click to see the blog categories that they want to see. Otherwise, they're just kind of scrolling and they never get past that first page because who wants to do all that work? I just want to be able to pick what I want to see. You know what I mean? I like these birds, by the way. That's kind of cool. So the next images you're uploading are the same width as your blog because this looks really gross. It's just falling right off the page. Now, if you can expand the width of your blog, that would be nice because I feel like if you make it the width of your blog, it's going to be really tiny. But don't upload images that are too big for your blog because this happens and it looks really bad. Also, these being white background, I don't know if you can change that or not, but it just looks really bad. If you can't change it, honestly, I would just get rid of it because it just doesn't look very nice. The contact form, if you can make this smaller, I think it would look a lot better, again, with the font. I like that you have it here, but it just doesn't look very cohesive. When it comes to images, I strongly suggest not having captions that are attached to the images. It just looks like a family snapshot like that, and I think if it was just the image, it wouldn't look like that. You can use this text, just type it right under the image in the actual blog post section, but just don't attach it this way. It just doesn't look very good. Vertical images, again, should be the same width as your blog. So these two images should be the same width. There should not be this big gap here on either side. The only other thing I'll say with blogging is in order for it to matter to Google, in order for it to actually work, you have to make use of SEO, search engine optimization, in your headers and in your alt text at least. You will see a huge jump in website visitors by consistently doing that. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that on this review. There's a ton of really good advice online, including on the Modern Tog website. So just do some searching for SEO for photographers. You'll find plenty of information there. The other thing is, when you get a blog menu, because you're getting a blog menu, right? There needs to be a button that will return someone to the original website. Okay, so the only other thing as a visitor that I would be frustrated by is that there's no pricing information. That will be debated from now until the end of time, but a lot of people like to have some kind of indication of pricing on their site because the problem is if you don't, you're going to, A, lose a lot of people who assume that, well, if I have to ask, I can't afford it, and B, at the same time, you're going to get inundated with people who are just price shopping, and you're going to be frustrated because you're going to spend all this time replying to people who honestly just wanted the cheaper photographer and doesn't really care about your style. So if you at least have some kind of information about the average client expects to spend about blank with me, contact for more info, then you're weeding out people who are like, what? I only wanted to pay $20. You don't have to spend time replying to those people because they won't contact you. And also, it sets expectations. So that's what I would suggest personally, but there's a ton of information on different ways to do that. Also, I feel like as a client, you didn't really do much to tell me why you're different or what could I expect from working with you. You kind of did in the about. You kind of went that way and said, you know, I can make your husband love this session. I will help you, blah, blah, blah. That needs to be really more prominent because honestly, there's tons of photographers everywhere you go who are pretty good at shooting pictures or even that are really amazing. So just being good at photography, I gotta be honest with you, it's not gonna cut it. So you have to learn how to pull in clients based on something else. Now, basing it on pulling in clients on price isn't good either because then you just always have to be the cheapest. So you need to find out what's unique about you, which again, it sounds like you kind of did, and really emphasize that. Speak to the person, the target client, speak to their desires and needs and fears and tell them why you can be the perfect photographer for them. So I would advise that as well. I tried this search thing earlier. It's really cool actually because if I want to just type in something, it comes up. I've never really seen that before, so that's really cool. These really surprised me. So as a visitor, when I see those, I assume that if I click this, it takes it to your Facebook page. And it doesn't. It actually brings up a share button, which is really confusing because, like, at this point, why would I share your about page? Like, it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the site. At no point during the site am I like, oh, I want to post this to my Facebook page. So I would either get rid of these, or if you can make them actually link to your Twitter page and actually link to your Facebook page, then do that. But it just doesn't make any sense. Share buttons are good on blogs, but not on main sites. So alright, I think that just about does it. Hopefully this review will actually save. I'm going to be really sad if it crashes again. I really hope that was helpful, Stephanie.